At the University of Illinois at Chicago, we think of disability as a natural part of human variation. And as such, we think about disability as a source of knowledge, disability as a source of pride, and disability as a source of creativity. Often when we think about disability in the arts, we think about making the audience accessible, right? So you've probably experienced that. When you go to the theater, you might find wheelchair seating or hearing FM loops for audiences. But we often don't think about making space for artists with disabilities. So we work with arts organizations not only on how to make their programming accessible for audiences, but how to support the artists.
Dear Mama, this year you asked me what I wanted for Christmas. I said I wanted a CD or perhaps a karaoke machine. But Mama, this year I remembered what you told me. How there's a man who speaks words of violence that are followed by a hollow silence. How he punches the air to fight the battles that rage inside him. How he lives in total darkness and how he can no longer hide it. How he speaks out loud to himself, hoping to get an invitation from the wind to confide in it. How people claim that what happened back then is a sin, and even though the years have gone by, the story will always live. That he is to blame, that he caused his own shame, that the people who survived it should hate him. They say he did it on purpose, that he never wanted to hit the brake in the first place. But why would he roll downhill with us and put his own life at stake? I mean, he walks around now, defeated and in emotional pain. Mama, this man is traumatized. He made a mistake. I know many lives were lost that day, but he paid and still continues to pay. He served 15 years in prison just for that day. His conscience is now burdened by the events of that day. I know the woman who stepped over dead bodies and searched under them for her baby was you. I know that the baby you searched for was me. I know that I flew 500 meters out of the car and fell hard on my head, causing me not to be able to see. The blow to my head caused the optic nerve atrophy. I know that the only sign of me being alive at that time was my crying. I know that you followed my cries to where I lay dying. I know that the bruises were numerous on my body, and I was struggling to breathe under the dead body on top of me. I know that people were shocked that I was still alive when you found me. I know that at that time I was 10 months and had no daddy. I know that you had 2 older kids besides me. I know that you and I were one of the few to survive the tragedy. And if Jesus Christ didn't condemn Mary Magdalene, then why should we condemn the man that drove a car to an unforeseen tragedy? A man who tortures himself day by day into insanity. A man who has no life or family. A man who's haunted and eaten away day by day by the dark memories. A man who carries the permanent injuries that were caused to that people in that car and to their families. A man who has an accident on his conscience all the time. A man who never forgets the criticism of his community. To him, I wish to say sorry. Sorry that he doesn't know how much help he's been to me. Sorry that he's burdened by the outcome of me. But if only he knew that he's been my strength and my eyes to see that my disability is an ability to me, to see that my disability became my ability to think into the future and not at my history, to think that I can't just work at some factory to raise my future family, to know that I have to do good in college for the best for me. This man who walks around aimlessly searching for peace has shaped and colored my mentality. So Mama, this Christmas, forget about my CD and karaoke machine. Instead, please help me find him. All I want to say to him is thank you, and I'm sorry.